2, 1. Here we go. Hi and welcome to this In Conversation with Shelley Fishel from the IT Training Surgery and Tomorrow's VA. I'm Tracy Jane Hughes from Manage Those Things and the Business Cheerleading Club, and I'm delighted to have Shelley with us today to talk specifically about some of her favourite tips for using Microsoft Office. So Shelley, would you just like to introduce yourself and, tell us a little bit about you?
Okay, so I'm Shelley Fishel, as you've already said, and I have two businesses. I have the IT Training Surgery, which is a face-to-face training business where we go into companies large and small and teach people at their desks or in a training room. And I have Tomorrow's VA, which is my new venture where I'm developing some online learning. I'm bringing all of that knowledge of 20 years plus Microsoft Office knowledge and packaging it up online, and specifically targeting the virtual assistant market or the small business owner, somebody that needs to do lots of things and needs that instant knowledge of, oh, I've got this problem and I don't know how to solve it. You can spend an hour trawling YouTube and you've lost that hour forever. So I solve those issues for people either in the face-to-face or the online learning world.
Okay, so you have lots of online courses that you offer.
So at the moment, I've got two because it's a new venture, and to create an online course of the kind of things that I'm doing, I'm actually a certified designer of online learning and a certified facilitator of online learning. So I'm quite in depth. It has to be structured properly. It has to have the right bits to it, not just the video tutorials. It's got handouts, exercises, all of those sort of things. So each one, even though it's a half-hour course or a 40-minute course, could probably take a good couple of days to put together. So it's a slow growing library of courses. At the moment, there are two there, one called Work Smarter with Style, which is a Word course. And that enables you to create your brand styles, save them so that you can reuse them again and again. Ooh. That's the colors and fonts and all of those things. And that would be one of my top tips when you're running a business, is to set up your styles, your templates, all of those things from the beginning. Once you know what your brand looks like, which font do you use, what color are your headings, all of those sort of things, that's really important to set that up, create a style set, and then you just use it again and again and again. So that's the first one. The second course I have is called Mastering the Slide Master, and that's a PowerPoint course. And that's basically the same thing. When you understand how the Slide Master works and what it is, you can change your presentation globally. So you don't have to keep reinventing the wheel. Every time you come into do a new presentation, you can start with your own master, which contains your colors, your fonts, your layouts, all sorts of things. So both of those are very similar. So I think both of those are essential. Now, yes, obviously, not every business is going to be presenting and using PowerPoint, but a lot of people use PowerPoint for user guides, manuals, process documents. So it's good to know how to set that up efficiently. And so that's the courses that I have at the moment. I mean, for the face-to-face stuff, there's lots and lots more.
Yeah. I can see that from looking at your website, and you deliver training on site and in small groups, don't you? So your team does that as well. So I think a lot of business owners often struggle and sort of, like you said, start from scratch every single time they create a document or create a presentation. And, you said about, one of your top tips will be about creating the style. So just want to, just tell us a little bit more about that, Shelley.
Okay, so when you start a blank document in Word and you start to type, what most people do is they'll start to type, and when they've got a new heading, they'll select the text, they'll make the heading bold, they'll change the color, they might do 2 or 3 different formatting things to that heading, and they'll repeat that throughout the document. So imagine you've written a book and you've got 60 chapters, so you've got 60 headings, and you're going to go and you're going to format 60 headings. You're spending 10 minutes or so formatting all those headings. Now, if you've made 6 changes to your heading, you've got to remember all the things you did.
Yeah.
Right? And by the time you get to heading number 5, you've lost the will to live. And by saving all of that as a style, you can just apply the style, and then that takes care of all the formatting. A top tip, if you don't master styles, though, is a little button on your, it's in all the programs. It's in Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. I think it's even in Outlook. And it's called the Format Painter. And what the Format Painter does is it copies the formatting of the text you select. So let's say you've just made a heading bold, red, centered, and italic. Bold, red, that's 4 changes. You don't want to make those 4 changes 40 times. So you select the text you've changed. So your changed text is highlighted. Yeah. The Format Painter button is in the clipboard group. So it's the first group on your home ribbon on the left-hand side as you look at the screen. And if you click it once, it copies that formatting and allows you to apply it once to any other bit of text that you select. If you want to apply it lots of times, instead of clicking the button once, you double click the button and that leaves it switched on. And then when you've finished, you just click the button again to switch it off. So that's a great time saver, because it might not be a heading. It might be that you just got some text that needs to stand out in the middle of a paragraph, but you want to be consistent. So when you make that word, so tomorrow's VA has got a turquoise font. The IT training surgery is dark blue and orange. So if I want some text to be dark blue, I would make that change. I would highlight it, use the Format Painter, and then just apply that where I want to highlight that text, even if I don't want to create a style. So that's kind of what style does. If you're looking at your home ribbon in Word, you'll see there is something called the Style Gallery. And Word comes with built-in styles. And you'll see there's a style called Normal, which is your body text. That's your regular text when you start typing. And you'll see that you've got heading 1, heading 2, heading 3. And you could just try using those, even if they are not quite what you want them to look like, to get the hang of applying a style. So type a heading and choose heading 1. Type a subheading and make it a heading 2. And then you can modify those styles and make them look how you want them to look. So whenever you apply them, they look the same. And even more time saving, if you apply the headings throughout your document that are there, before you've changed them, and then you change them, that will be reflected throughout the document. So let's say your heading 1 was bright orange and 40 points, and you've already applied it, and then you think 40 points is just a bit too big. I want to make it 22 points. You could modify the heading, and every heading that's in that style will change at the same time. It's a bit like magic. It's a bit funny.
It sounds very much
just
like magic.
It is magic. It's absolute magic. There's lots of magic.
So to change that heading, you go into the style.
You modify the style. If you find the style in the style gallery and you right click on the one you want to change, you'll get the option to modify. And when you click modify, you'll bring, it looks like the font dialog box where you can change the color, the size, and all the different formatting. And just make your changes there and click OK. It will ask you at the bottom whether you want to save it just in this document or in your normal template. If you save it in this document, then it will only stay in this document. If you want that modified style available to you all the time, then you'll want to put it in your normal template. So you want to make sure that one's ticked at the bottom.
So essentially, that there are ways that you can create your normal template on any of the Microsoft Office products. I mean, I know we were talking about Word then, but any of the Microsoft Office products, you can create your normal template for your branding, essentially.
Yeah, absolutely. So the styles is not actually a template. It's a design. And you can save, it's quite, So let's say you've got heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, normal, and maybe you've got one other style that you've created from scratch. I'm not going to explain here because it's, go watch the course if you want to learn that. But exactly. You can save all of that as a style set. And when you save that as a style set, so for example, I've got a style set called ITTS, which is for IT Training Surgery. And I have another style set called TMVA, for Tomorrow's VA. By saving the style set, when you go to the design ribbon, you'll see all the different style sets listed. So let's say you've just got a document. Maybe somebody has written something for you and they're not in your office or in your organization. So they're not using your styles. But they have used styles in their documents. They've used their own styles. You can take that document and just apply your design set to that document, and it will update what the styles look like. If they haven't used styles, then you just have to apply the styles by choosing the design set. So a template is when you may have your headings, you might have your header and footer in there. You might have standard text. And you would also have your design, and you would save all of that as a template. And then you would just start from that. I have a letterhead template. So that's what you would do. That's what you would do there.
Again, it's understanding the terminology, isn't it, of all the different things. And sometimes, when somebody, you might ask a question, for example, oh, how do I do this? And someone comes back and trying to explain to you, but they use a different terminology, and you just don't get it. So that's brilliant. So
half the time when I'm trying to help people, if they phone me up or we're chatting online, the hardest part is understanding what actually they want to do. So
So in that sense, what questions do you ask? This might help people. What questions do you ask them to help them understand what they want to do?
That's quite a hard one to answer, because they might, let's assume somebody has contacted me and said, this is an absolute star example of some people I'm going to train next week. So my physiotherapist, because I've had back surgery and I go to weekly physio. So the practice manager rang me up last week and said, we need to know how to use Excel. We don't know what we're doing. So I said, okay, what do you need to do? And I got this whole long convoluted story. There's 3 people and they each need to do different things. So the lady who phoned me up, I really don't know. I need to be able to, I keep a list of all the products that we have in the physiotherapy practice. And I said, well, do you need to keep a list of how many you've got in stock? Oh, yes, I do. Do you need it to, let's say you sell one. Do you want to be able to put that in a column to say I've sold one, and then the total decreases by 1 so that you know you've got 1 less in stock? Oh, yes, that would be a good thing. Do you need to sort the list out so it's in a particular order? Yeah, then I talk to the main receptionist. What do you need? Oh, I don't need very much. I keep lists, but I do need to make it add up. So you can see you get completely different things. Yes. So we're going to do a 2-hour very basic session. They want to make it look nice. They don't know how to set the borders, how to print it properly, those sort of things. Yeah. So it's just about digging.
Yes. So for business owners, that don't know what they can do, it's about understanding what their end result is.
Yes.
And then, you can help them work backwards, or, their business coach or whoever's helping them can help them to go, right, this is what your end result is. We know that Microsoft Office is a powerful toolkit. What do you need to know to get it to where you are?
Yeah. So when somebody from a larger organization gets in touch and says, oh, we've got 20 staff and we want them to learn Excel, I'll stick with the Excel theme, then my first question will be, what do they need to produce or be able to do? Because somebody in the accounts department will have a different need to somebody in the sales team. And so we need to find the common things if they're all going to be there together. But include the individual things so that they all benefit from that. So my first question would usually be, well, what exactly do you want to have at the end? You start with the end in mind.
Which is, what all of us coaches would do, I guess. And just because it's a technical thing that you're helping them with doesn't mean that the questions are any different.
No.
Yeah, that makes total sense, Shelley.
Yeah.
So you were going to share your favorite tips. So you might have already started doing that already.
Well, styles is up there. The next one I want to share actually is a really simple one that nearly everybody overlooks, and it's across all the programs. So it's called the Quick Access Toolbar. Now, the Quick Access Toolbar, or QAT for short, because it's too much of a mouthful, and in most user guides, it's eventually referred to as the QAT. It sits at the very, very, very top left of your screen. And when you first get Word, when you first download it, then you'll have just 3 icons there. You'll have save, you'll have undo, redo, and possibly save. And that's all you can see. But next to the third icon is a little drop down arrow. And this is where there's magic. Again, I love magic. So
I love magic too.
So when you click the drop down arrow, you'll see a list of about 10 things that Microsoft thinks you might want access to very quickly, hence Quick Access Toolbar. So things like open, new, my favorite one, which I'll tell you in a minute. So let's say you want open to be there. So you just click on the icon and it will show up on the Quick Access Toolbar. And then new documents as well. You can add that. So that's really simple and easy. My favorite one is called email. And what that does is it allows you to email the document, spreadsheet, or presentation you're actually in from within where you are. So if you click that, let's say you've got this document and you've got to send it to somebody, you finish writing it and you save it. Instead of then going to Outlook, starting an email, attaching the file, you can do it from Word. You can click the email button and it will open up a new email with the document attached, which I think is pretty cool. So it's my favorite.
Again, it saves time, doesn't it? It's, instead of going away and then if you open up your email system, you might then see an email that you need to respond to and then you forget to do what you were doing. So it's all of that, finishing things off.
Yeah. Now, the other things about the Quick Access Toolbar, it doesn't stop there. If you've got some favorite icons, we've got the ribbon and things are organized on the ribbon according to groups of things that they do. So you've got the home ribbon and the design ribbon and the insert ribbon. Let's say one of the things is you insert pictures all the time into your document. I've just picked it at random. When you go to the insert ribbon, if you right click on the picture icon there, the insert picture icon, you'll get the option to add it to your QAT, add to the Quick Access Toolbar. And then it will always be there. Now, that's probably not something you really would do all the time. That was the one that popped into my head. But basically, any icon that you can see anywhere on any ribbon can be added with a right click. And if it can be added with a right click, it can be removed with a right click as well. You can also choose to have that Quick Access Toolbar show below the ribbon. So if you're one of those people that's got 20 of their favorite things, show it below the ribbon and hide the ribbon because they're your 20 things that you use all the time. So it's one of my favorite things, and it's the thing whenever I get a new machine, it's the first thing that I do. I go and customize the quick access toolbar. There's lots more ways of customizing it, but we don't have time to go into any more. But
and again, the idea of these, Shelley, is just to give people really quick tips. That they can go away and do and explore. And I know people will be going away and going, oh, look at this and look at that. So I imagine that some of this can be time wasting as well as we're learning things.
Well, Microsoft had an interesting statistic a couple of years ago. I can't remember, read it, heard it, was at Microsoft, somebody said it. They say that there's a 2-week loss of productivity when you learn a whole new something. So let's say you get a new version. It might take you 2 weeks to get up to speed with the new version. But after that 2 weeks, you are faster than you were before. So I think that's true of anything, because you've got to embed that learning as well. You've got to do it 3, 4, 5, sometimes 10 times before you remember what you did, and it becomes unconscious and you just do it. But I just wanted to talk about my other favorite tip. One other favorite tip. I mean, I can probably go for a while, but we'll stick to one, and that is OneNote. So let me ask you, Tracy, have you ever used OneNote?
I've got it on my phone. I do have it on my phone, and it's popped up occasionally, but I've used Evernote, I have to say. And OneNote came with my new phone. I've got a Samsung phone, and it came in the package with that.
Not sure what it is.
Not sure.
Okay. So another question: are you using Office 365?
No, I'm not.
Right. So are you Mac or Windows?
I'm a Windows.
Windows. And what version of Microsoft Office are you using?
Okay. I'm currently using a free open source LibreOffice, is what I use.
Right.
But I'm finding that the functionality is not what I need. So.
Okay. So if you have bought into Office 365, and just to dispel the myth around what Office 365 is, it's simply a subscription mechanism. So you're buying Microsoft Office, you get the programs, but you're subscribing throughout the year, or you can pay it annually or monthly, but it's software as a service is what the industry is. SaaS, software as a service. Now, with that Microsoft Office, depending on which version you buy, and there are many, I've just written an epic blog about it all, which I'll publish hopefully next week. It took me hours. So within Office 365, you get the desktop applications, which is Word, PowerPoint, Excel, Outlook. Depending on which version, you might get Access and Publisher as well. But you also get OneNote 2016. The OneNote on your phone, if it's not connected to Office 2016, is a slightly different version. It's like a standalone cut down version. So you have OneNote you can have it on your iPad, on your phone, on any device. So let's assume that you're using OneNote 2016 within Office 365, which I suspect most business owners by now will be doing in one flavor or another. So basically it's a notebook, and you can have as many notebooks as you want. So you can get rid of your great big notebook with sections that you carry around. Mine just sits on my desk for the random time when I want to write something down. So I no longer carry a notebook. I've got, when I'm out and about, bear in mind, I'm a kind of geeky techie person, not too geeky, but I have a Microsoft Surface, which comes with a pen, so I can write on it. And so my OneNote becomes my notebook where I handwrite notes and type notes. So a notebook has sections and pages. So if I take the VA example, a virtual assistant, she might have several clients. So she might keep one notebook per client. Now, where notebooks start to get very useful is they connect to the rest of Office. So you can insert things into them from Office. So I could insert a document if I'm going to a meeting and I don't want to be scrabbling about for all my different bits and pieces, I can actually embed them all in the notebook. And then I've got them. I can take meeting notes in my notebook, and there are templates for that. I can email a page. So let's say I meet with you and I sit down and I make all my notes. Then I can just email the page to you, so you've got my notes. I can put meetings into my notebook. So there's an option. Let's say I've got a meeting in Outlook scheduled, and I want to take notes. So I can go to a new page, go to the insert meeting option, pick the meeting from the list because it's talking to each other. And then it tells me who was invited, what time, all the header of the meeting. Wow. I can just type my notes. So OneNote is, I can't really do it justice in a few minutes. I recently spent an hour with a VA. A few weeks ago, I did a giveaway through my website, and I gave away a copy of my book and an hour consultation with me. And we used it, this virtual assistant, we used it on OneNote. And she has now told me, because we're going to do an interview next week, and she's told me that it's revolutionized the way she works. Oh, and she's ditched her physical notebooks, and it's saving her so much time because it's a tool. It's kind of replaced various other processes that she was doing. That's obviously going to depend on the type of person you are as well.
Yes, it will, but it sounds like adding it all together and having everything in one place and being able to, I guess, email from OneNote as well, just like you do with all of the other things. Across Microsoft. That's amazing, Shelley. It is brilliant.
It's a really great. I mean, you don't have to write in it with handwriting. You can type. And on my iPad, I don't write. I tend to use the on the keyboard. But it's great. I got it on my iPad. I've got it on my phone. It synchronizes everywhere, so I can get to I can get to the same notebooks wherever I am, and update them when I need to, or see. Yesterday, I was doing some research. And I use Windows 10 and I use the Edge browser for when I'm just generally working. Now there's an add-in for the Edge, an extension for the Edge browser called OneNote Web Clipper. When I was doing research on Microsoft. I wanted to make sure I got the packages correct for my article. I just clipped the page. It clipped the whole page and put it in OneNote with a link to the page, which meant that if it had missed off the bottom, because I hadn't expanded that bit, I didn't realize it said more information and I hadn't clicked more. So I had 3/4 of the information, but I had the link to the web page next to the clipping. So I could go straight back to it. And that made writing my articles so much easier. You can also share notebooks with other people. So you could have a project you could all work on together. So
brilliant. That's absolutely amazing. Thank you so much.
You don't know what you don't know. I find that's the problem. That's the problem.
I think that's what what I'm trying to get across to people is there is all this information out there, and sometimes we're just overwhelmed by there's just too much. It's too much, so I'm just not even going to try. But those 3 tips, that the style, the
quick access
the QAT, and OneNote, Shelley, that's going to be time saving for so many business owners. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I used to do a survey of my classroom training, and we used to ask people how much time they think they would save. And the average is most people felt from a training course they would save a minimum of 30 minutes per person per day. That's huge. That's a holiday a year. That comes to 17 days a year. If you're going to save 30 minutes a day from repetitive things that you've stopped doing, you could go on holiday.
You could. I'm going to start. So, Shelley, I just put your Tomorrow's VA website link up, and we'll put it down below. Where else
could I just ask you to change it? It's HTTPS. That will go there, but it might not go straight there because it's got a secure website on it.
Yes, obviously for all your training stuff. So there we go.
Brilliant.
Thank
you.
That's okay, and I will make sure it's correct down below. So where else and what else can we where else can we find you, and how else can, if people want to know more, how do they get in contact with you?
Various ways. So I'm on Twitter. In 3 places. I'm a glutton for social media. I love social media. So the easiest way to find me is at Shelley Fishel. That's my personal Twitter. I'm on LinkedIn. You can look me up on LinkedIn. Again, look for Shelley Fishel. The IT Training Surgery and Tomorrow's VA both have Facebook pages, so you can find me there as well. So that's plenty. And of course, both websites, Tomorrow's VA has got a nice contact page where you can email me, shelley@tomorrowsva.com. And also on my IT Training Surgery website, the IT Training Surgery, that's also got a contact button. So there's lots of ways to get in touch. Just Google me. If you Google my name, there's like a page of me. So I'm out there a lot.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Shelley. That's been absolutely brilliant and so helpful. Just to gather some tips in the same place. Most business owners, will have Microsoft Office, and not use any, very much of it. So that's been absolutely brilliant. Thank you for your time.
You're very welcome. It's been a pleasure.
It's, just so that people know, it's Shelley Fishel from the Tomorrow's VA and the IT Training Surgery. And I'm Tracy Jane Hughes from Manage Those Things and the Business Cheerleading Club. So until next time, thank you very much, Shelley, and see you soon.
Thank you. See you.